the last few years we really started talking about it. I recently started therapy.
I said for sure.
Yeah.
The last couple of years.
So I recently started therapy, and I was always like she said, I was always like, I'm not that bad. Everybody goes through this. Sure, everybody when they get sad, they scratch their skin. They do this. I would self-harm sometimes. It wasn't anything majorly bad, but like little cuts, little scratches and things. Oh, it's not that bad. It's not that bad. So then I decided to start therapy, and I really, really worked on myself. And I still have bad days where I get really sad, but I don't go to those toxic tools now. I don't harm myself. I'll journal. I'll meditate. This was like the best investment I made. It's called 100 Days to Calm, a journal for finding everyday tranquility. So for 100 days, it has different prompts, and that really helped me to learn about meditating and everything, and therapy. So that was it. So now, like, I feel like I'm at a good place. I've come to realize who I am as a person. I'm non-binary, so but I don't care about like pronouns or anything or people. Like, I decided to start going by Lore instead of Lauren, and for a long time I didn't like accept that part of myself. But it's always who I am.
More because of who gave it to you than the actual.
Yeah, like my mother named me Lauren, and then her mom, my mama, I call her mama, always called me Lore. It was like a nickname. So I was like, you know what, I like that. I'm Lore. So, and I really came to like accept that, and I started therapy, and then eventually the therapy wasn't enough, so I did seek a psychiatrist, and I do take medication for my mental health. And I'm very, very open about that too, because that's another thing. Nobody wants to talk about it. And it's like, I'm not that bad. I don't need it. But if you have that available to you, if you have a doctor that will help you, you should do it if you think it'll help, if your doctor thinks it'll help.
So. And some of the tools, because it is like an open dialogue now, when you talk to people, you learn your own coping tools. She has the calm book, she does the exercises, and sometimes her psychologist will give her an idea of how to handle something like, you don't like the cold rain, you don't like the snow. Uncomfortable situations happen and obstacles occur, but I am strong enough. That's a phrase that she taught her. And I will sort of hear, she always reads me, or they always read me the tools and I will learn some that I've used myself. I myself am not great at meditating, but I take very long baths, and that's the only time my brain really sort of calms down. And then, but there'll be a tool where she'll say, this was the exercise, and I find myself doing it in the day. I myself do not use medication, but part of my journey to dealing with my anxieties, I am scared about everybody dying all of the time, and I realize I have been for a very long time. But I think that probably goes back to my uncle dying when I was 6. And the way he died was, if this is too much, I'm sorry, but the way he passed away was he had medical malpractice. And they gave him something that interacted with Prozac. And for another condition, and it unfortunately, he did not survive the toxin combination. So I was always very, you're bad, but you're getting better because you're talking to Stacey, and that's true. The talking to a psychologist definitely was a huge change, and subconsciously learning these tools that you had been learning, I came to accept the fact that, okay, maybe not. Maybe you do need this combination of the two doctors. And let's just say the psychiatrist gave the prescription for Prozac. And I did not feel terrified every single moment of my life, even though this person who now I know tried to kill themselves, tried to harm, end their life, knows that toxic combination can happen, and that I was like, I trust you, you're not going to do anything wrong. it's irrational to think that it wasn't the pill, it was the combination. And so that was a big step. So it's like, it's kind of strange, but you getting medicated helped me to get better too.
Yeah, and that's the thing of talking about it for sure. And the big issue is also with Prozac, and I know a lot of other SRIs, that's what it's called. That class of drugs you're not supposed to mix alcohol with. So I think what also helps me to acknowledge I need this medication is I don't drink alcohol. A few years ago, before we even really started talking about mental health
That
and
was the beginning.
everything, I decided I was going to stop drinking because I wouldn't drink a lot, but if we would go out to a party or an event, I would drink and I would be like, oh, I'm not buzzed, I'm going to have another one. And I'd have 3 drinks and then I'd be being a jerk. I'd be mean and fighting people. I was not, they say those fun drunks. I was an angry drunk.
Yeah.
So then,
and if they were free, they were like potato chips.
Yeah.
You had,
was it?
7 screwdrivers when we graduated college?
7 screwdrivers, because it was an open bar, so in like 3 hours. So that was a fun night.
7.
So,
not that you remember it.
I don't remember much of it. But so then so now that I don't drink, I know, and my father is in AA. He's been recovering from alcohol my whole life. I was 1 year old when he stopped drinking. So I know that, alcoholism runs in my family as well, so I stopped drinking. So I think that also really helps me with the Prozac, because I know, okay, this is a toxic combination. This would be really bad if I drink with it, but also it would just be bad for me in general to drink.
Mm-hmm.
It makes me a nasty person. I don't like the person I am when I'm yelling at the people I love and being mean and cranky.
And it all kind of came about not by any huge life changes. It was just like, yes, there was the pandemic, but we had started before that these little tiny, like I said about my taking a long bath or running your hands under cold water or taking a break. Some of them are we walk, rain, shine, snow, wind. We go for a walk. We try and aim for an hour every night after dinner because the air, the conversation, and the exercise are a good combination. It's not fast. It's like a little
normal pace
thing, and it really bothers us when we can't do that whole hour. And last Saturday, I went flying down the ice storm down 12 marble stairs in front of our house. I was at the doctor all day getting x-rays and bruised that I couldn't walk. So that night we couldn't, and it was like, okay, you know what, we'll just kind of shimmy around in the doctor's office. And, not everybody has the luxury of an hour, but maybe 10 minutes.
Yeah, stay yourself moving.
Get some air.
It's great for physical and mental health. Definitely see the benefits of that. Excuse me.
Lock yourself in a room if there's too many people.
Yeah, just take that time for yourself, because you're the only person who knows what you're feeling, and you're the only person who can really help yourself. So, I know we're very fortunate. We don't really have a very busy life. We don't have kids and everything. So I know it's harder for some people, but everybody has to go to the bathroom. You go to the bathroom, you could take 5 minutes, do some deep breathing. There's all sorts of things. And I found this in Target for it was $15. So a book like this specific one, or any one, 100 Days to Calm, something that's going to give you prompts. Like one of the visualizations that I always do when I'm getting really depressed is picture yourself, under a waterfall, and you just close your eyes for a few minutes and picture yourself, and you say to yourself, there's nothing I have to do in this moment except be. And it kind of helps you to come back to the moment and forget about everything that's going on.
Listen to a song.
Yeah.
Your
favorite song.
We are huge, obviously, we suffered through that store for 3 years just to get discounts. We're huge fans of Disney World. Couldn't really go to Disney World for the last couple of years, but you can play one of the soundtracks. You can put on, Zippity Doo Dah or something. It's quick and it takes you back to that place where you felt safer.
Yeah. It'll remind you.
Everybody has an excuse to think everybody else is busier. Yes, we can sleep later and stay up later. But I don't have a human child, but I have a dog. And if I oversleep too much, he's got to go to the bathroom. And unfortunately, he's very well trained. He won't have an accident on the floor, even in a blizzard. And that's my responsibility to know, or to make sure that I'm home when my mother comes because she has a heavy bag, or everybody has those things. We cook for them. Like, I really thought she wasn't gonna eat tonight because we said, well, what do you want to eat for dinner? We'll make it a little early before we go. And she was skiing and hawing, and I thought, I'll just make myself something. And I said, oh God, she's just not gonna. My mom is an amazing, amazing cook. I'm a half Italian, and she's the Italian side, but after a day of work, because she doesn't want to stay home with my father because he's annoying and retired, she likes going to work. She enjoys it, but she's 70. When she comes home, I want to be able to cook for her. We want to be able to cook for her, and he's not really independent, so we have to cook for him too. Before we left. Can I eat? Like, what am I doing? Like, well, we're packing our bags, but what are you gonna feed me? He's like a toddler sometimes. So everybody has those things to say, well,
you're responsible.
Someone's more responsible if they're a working mom. Well, not responsible, but someone's busier, they're a working mom. Or, this one's got elderly parents, but they're very sickly. We all have a reason to not take care of ourselves. So.
Yeah. And you shouldn't compare your experience to anyone else's. We all have things that are gonna stress us out, that are gonna make us sad. And